Next thing out of Clara's magical bag.
Ooh, hey!
I was going to do it secretly, but we wouldn't leave the kitchen. Just did it. So we can go upstairs and do it secretly. Alright, so you've got a few questions. What are the jars?
Physically, they are pieces of glass.
Yeah.
With lids on.
Yeah, they are.
They're a container for something.
Container, that's a good word.
They can hold things in them.
That's also very good.
Thank you.
These questions are to be like, do we actually need them? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so like, the things
Okay,
that say
yeah,
are good.
yeah, yeah. You can put something in it and then keep it in there.
Lock it in.
And yeah, lock it in. They can be rolled around. They can be shook. They can be, you know, lid off. Wait! No.
Hey!
Oh, come on, England. Oh no, we lost. It's a bit of queen. You nasty bitch.
Why? What's with that?
Just like a bit of like, just on the side.
Oh,
Sure.
it's
They're see-through, so whatever's in
transparent.
Transparent, yeah.
So they contain things, they hold things, they're transparent, they lock things in, they let things out.
They make sounds.
They're a sound. You can shake them, you can like shock them, roll them, disturb them. What do they represent? If they were
In the
to
context
be in,
of the piece.
yeah, if they were to be in this, empty or full or whatever.
Something. Maybe something about being locked in
Yeah.
and like.
Or like keeping things in.
Keeping things in, and then like it's really tight so you can't get it off.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe again, like I know we want to do this like 100% pure repetition. You know, when we were like chatting to Rich yesterday about like how do we get buzz in there and stuff like that. Obviously, yeah, it's not going to be funny, but like you need something.
Yeah.
And maybe it is a.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, there is like sections to it rather than.
Well, we did. I think we said like quite near the beginning, like, is it repetition or is it
Repeat,
repetition?
repetition. Yeah.
I wrote it in my book like that.
Yeah,
as well.
you did, yeah. You did.
I think you said it, and I was like,
you wrote it like that, which is a really nice visual.
uh,
So yeah, maybe it's like, even if it's like a 10-minute sequence that we do 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we end up back on the floor and have to do our get up thing again.
Yeah.
And a bit of it is to be.
Yeah. And I guess like now, you know, we're on week 6 or whatever, and now is where we start actually making the content for the bit. I think we've done like a really good amount of exploring, and like we're continuing to
And we'll
explore.
just let it be that rather than make it into anything.
Yeah. I think we made like a conscious effort to like well, like I said to Richard yesterday, like we are being very exploratory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what do they represent? Like, do we want what's in the jars? So if they're outside the square, do we want them, or do we not want them? Are the jars us in a jar? Like, you know, like is it a representation of us? You know, if we were shrunk and we were in the jar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're in a square and something is in the jar. Yeah.
Cool. Why jars?
I don't know.
I
The
said
guy-
it
it was
when-
from Richard saying
when
collecting
he
a
said collecting
square.
things, and I was like, collecting
And you were
in a
like,
jar.
collect it in a jar, and I was like, yeah, I really like that, and I didn't feel any need to try and think of something else. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you might be like, oh yeah, or this, and maybe it's because I knew we had them, so I could see them already, like not physically, but I was like, I know what jars we have at home. I know that they see-through jars with a white lid. I know what they look like. I know how big they are. So maybe there was an element of already knowing what jar it was going to be. I like jars.
Yeah.
That's a really weird thing to say. I just love a good jar. You know, like the Kilner things. Like I like see-through jars.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Okay.
What do we do with them?
Oh, sorry, in the piece or in general?
Don't know.
Okay. Well, in general, well, we originally got them to make food in.
Yeah.
And to have food out of, so that was like a use. Like storage place. So similar to container, but a bit different, I guess. Yeah, I guess at this stage, like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea of just having a jar each. I also like the idea of I also like the idea of having a lot of them about the space, but then like they need to have, not like everything needs a purpose, but like
But it does, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't just have jars. We couldn't just have a load of jars on the stage and not explain
Just
them.
because it looks nice.
Yeah, and it's fine maybe for if we weren't doing a PAR that was going to get marked, but
Yeah.
we can't just be like put jars in space just cause. Like we have to, you know, we have to justify what we're doing, you know, that kind of thing.
That's why I kind of,
Yeah.
I was like, right, we've got to the point where we need to bring jars in, like,
Yeah.
let's ask some questions.
I like the writing on it actually. Rejects if safety button can be depressed before opening. So there's some sort of element of like, you know, it's not safe to open it if you can hear that, or like, do you know what I mean? Like you're not meant to. I just think the wording's funny.
Yeah.
Like reject safety. Depressed.
It's like, oh, it's damaged, it's not good.
Yeah, like you shouldn't use this because of that. I'm a big fan of the soundage.
Yeah.
Like the effort you put into when you can't get off, like, you know what I mean?
Alright.
Any other questions?
No, that's all my questions.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
About the jars?
Yeah.
Do you know why you first thought jars? No. Sometimes, yeah, there just isn't a reason.
Yeah.
Like,
It was just that conversation we were saying
Yeah.
about collecting things, and I was like, jars.
yeah.
Collecting in jars.
Yeah. Collecting in jars, nothing else.
And then once that idea popped in my head, everything we talked about was like to the jars.
Yeah.
Because we were like, you know, maybe like food colouring or liquid or like getting
Yeah.
something. Jars.
Yeah.
Jars. No reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I guess. I don't know. Questions? Not at this like stage anyway.
Yeah. Alright, so place your jar anywhere you want. We have 15 minutes to explore, play and think and come up with movement score, new or old, or it doesn't have to be a movement score though, it can be literally anything, that interacts with the jar but it doesn't like obsess over it, so it's not like the main thing, like everything's done with a jar like for no fucking reason, but like so kind of like the first one where it's just like interact with the square.
Okay.
It is interact with the jar, but like
Don't obsess
you know,
over the jar.
yeah, with it, and do a bit of a moving sequence, do a bit of a, you know, see what you can do with it. Just like a bit of an open play, but also at some point, because we've got 15 minutes, do a movement sequence.
Yeah. Okay. Sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we go to these at any point in the 15
Yeah,
minutes if we want?
yeah, absolutely. Shall we start?
That was fun. Good. Kicking your jar and you just send it away. Like that. Good.
I think you had a lot more fun with the jar.
I did it first, and I was like, right, leave it for a bit, and then.
Like you had like more ideas and like interest with it, and I didn't have that many.
Okay.
Which is fine because we'll look back and see what
Yeah.
works and
Yeah.
see each other's.
For the first time, I felt like not like comedy, but like there was comic potential.
Yeah.
Like, and not to say that that means that I now think it should have comedy in it, but like when I was laid there with my chin on it, I was just like, I was like, my eyes. Obviously, I didn't want to move my head, but I was just like, this is funny.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, is she seeing me?
Yeah. So
I was like, well, that's what I did. I just thought that was quite funny, and obviously, I was like, well, she's not got a jar, so I'll give her mine. and then you just went and did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then when I was watching you do it, and I was like, I know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And then you did it, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, you just lost both the jars.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of knew you were going to do that.
Yeah. So I wanted to lose my jar.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do it too soon, so I checked.
Yeah.
It was 4 minutes, 4 minutes 30 left.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do 4 minutes 30 without a jar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if there was like
Yeah.
8 minutes left, I was like, no.
Yeah.
So I did mine and obviously like let it happen naturally, just by like, you know, I didn't like fake it.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just like trying to like do things without it, and then I kind of saw you like place it there and like leave it, and in yours, and I was just like, I feel like you're giving it to me, but I won't take it just in case.
Yeah.
And then when you put it in mine, I was like, okay, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And then like I picked up and I was like, I'll do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, she's watching me knowing that I'm gonna do the exact
Yeah.
same thing. It's that thing of like almost, again, like the repetition.
Yeah.
But also like I don't know if it really counts, but like not learning from your mistakes.
Yeah. Well, the re-wounding, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like.
It's like, you know you're going to be sad when you lose your job, but you
Yeah.
still need to do it again because even though you'll be sad, it'll help you a bit.
Yeah, yeah, like when I gave you the jar, I was like, she's either going to do it again and the same thing will happen, or she won't. And there's a chance that she won't, so I'll give her my jar. And then when you started doing it, I was like, well.
So maybe if like, I quite like that, me doing that.
Yeah.
And I quite like you giving me a jar.
Mm.
So if that looks good and if we wanted to keep it, maybe it's like the kitchen game thing of that you have the jars on your side. Do you know what I mean? So you have more jars than me or something.
Yeah.
So when I lose one, you like notice and give it, and then I, do you know what I mean? So then, so there's not just 2 jars, and when I lose one, I've lost yours. You still have your jar,
Yeah.
and you can give me another one or something.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe it's like I have more jars because my trauma is older.
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
yours
that
is
when
newer.
I said it, I was like the years
And
or
like,
something.
you know,
Like,
yeah,
mine's
maybe
1
it
year, 1
represents,
jar.
yeah, like, and I'm like, and not to say that by any means I think this, but this idea of my trauma's older and I've dealt with it for longer, so therefore I understand it more.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. That's not what I think.
But
or
also
the case.
probably
But
true. And maybe I have 1 jar. Oh. Yeah, I have 1 jar that's quite full.
yeah,
Because let's say they're probably 500 mils.
yeah,
Let's say trauma can be represented in 500 mils of water.
okay, yeah,
All of my 500 mils are in 1 jar because it's only been 1 year, whereas your 500 mils are spread
out.
across
8 jars.
8 jars.
Yeah. Well,
So they're less.
Yeah.
Because it's been spread across 8 years, it's more manageable. Maybe?
Yeah,
like, you know, when you've got more liquid, it's more media, it's more.
yeah, like so when that thing happened on the street, that was like bam, that was your liquid coming at you. Whereas me watching Safe, it was just like, oh, here's a little bit. But when it first happened, it was like
Yeah.
water everywhere.
So it's spread across more jars, it's more manageable.
Yeah.
And also, just when you were saying about safety the other day, when we had our meeting with Richard and he said something about triggers, or like or social, cultural movements that reacts, whatever else.
Yeah.
I thought about something, whether it's a movement, for you a shudder, and for me like a
looking over your shoulder almost, yeah.
for like our triggers or our like reactions.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up 'cause I forgot about. I mean, I wrote a note about it, but I wouldn't have seen it for a while. So yeah, maybe jars do have a place, and maybe it does add that bit of a comedy thing of like you being like nice and giving me a jar, and me being an idiot and just doing it again.
It is kind of our personalities as well, in a comedic sense of like, I would always give you things.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like as a person, like if I saw you without, I would give you something.
Yeah.
Because that's my nature.
Yeah.
And not to say that you then just go and fucking throw it away, but like you are more reckless than I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
like how we you know, like when you busted your ankle, you did that because you were playing a game. Do you know what I mean? And like you weren't thinking, oh, there's a muddy patch. No, and not that I would think that, but like you wouldn't have thrown yourself in the game as much. Yeah. That I did, in case I get hurt, whereas you're just like, fuck it, I'll go. Yeah. So then me giving you things, then you're just like, and I'm like, mate. Yeah. Stop slipping on the patch of gravel. Wait! Oh, at this point.
And then maybe the placement is along one side, is that I have my one there, so that, or there, either they're both on the outside or they're both on the left. Outside, left, outside, left, outside, left.
Okay.
Which one?
Oh, I didn't think you were giving me options. I thought you were just being silly.
You don't have to make a decision, but.
Yeah.
So one there and one there.
Yeah.
For
And
the
then
camera.
mine are lined up there, yeah.
Yeah, yours all the way. Or one there, one there. Nah. Or one there, one there. They can't be there because they're too close to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So mine's going to be there,
Yeah.
and yours are going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. As a movement.
Yeah. Did you like my jar spinning? I very much enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. I got one going like this.
Ooh.
And it was going for quite a while without falling.
What will be interesting if we could try this as like a full on like exercise of like having all the jars and then the same exercise but with more jars and then depending on what we decide to do with it, it'll be interesting what an audience member does, whether they'll give us the jars back.
Yeah.
Yeah.